Are you having a hard time getting an internship? Have you gotten to the place where you're applying to so many jobs, hundreds of jobs, and you're not hearing back from any of them? Have you gotten to the point where engineering jobs feel like they are impossible to get? Well, my friends, today I'm here to tell you that it is not only possible to get a job in engineering, but you can actually exponentially increase your odds by learning and finding new opportunities for growth. Today, in this video, I'm going to share with you how I landed 3 embedded software engineering jobs before I even graduated university. I'm going to tell you how I leveraged various opportunities that were available to me as a student and how you can do the same to get more interviews. Let's discuss. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I am super excited to be talking about this topic today. I really want to help you guys get more internships, or if you haven't gotten an internship before, help you get your very first one. I think internships are super valuable. You learn a lot on the job, not only for technical skills and actual work experience, but you get an idea of what kind of career you want to pursue in the future, what kind of company you want to work for, and I think that's more valuable even than the technical experience that you get from it. I personally have done 3 engineering internships, and they have each led me in a path to find the best career for me for when I graduate school. So to give you some context, I haven't graduated yet. I still have 1 year to go. I'm currently in my 3rd internship right now, finishing that up just in a few weeks. So before I get into the video explaining how I got each of my jobs, I just want to give you a bit of a primer on the different methods that I used in order to get these jobs. So there are 3 methods that I really used to kind of increase my odds and to make myself more visible to employers. So the first one is joining a technical club to gain more skill development. And really any university with an engineering program will have a lot of engineering teams or technical teams that you can join where you can develop some of these skills. And I'll go into that in a bit more detail in the next job. Second method is to create a personal project that shows off skills that you already have, or maybe skills that you are trying to develop, and show how you use them in a more practical setting. So showing off the experience that you have with those technologies. And the third method is leveraging a internship that you already have completed and prove some of the skills and experience that you have in a actual real world like business setting. So just as a bit of a disclaimer, I did use a combination of all 3 of these methods every time I tried to get one of these jobs. But it kind of seems like there was one prevalent method in getting each one of the jobs, and each method that really contributed to getting that job is different. So for each job, I'm going to go over how that one method really helped me out and how I used it to execute on improving my odds at getting interviews and job offers. So without further ado, let's jump into the first job. So just a little bit of a background on the first internship that I got. During this time, I had tried and failed over 2 hiring cycles to get a job. So I was applying to like 50 plus jobs during these job cycles, and I was getting no callbacks whatsoever. So that was 2 cycles that I went through. It's at that point that I realized that I don't really have any real marketable skills that employers are wanting to see. And this was the biggest contributor as to why I wasn't getting any interviews. So as part of my strategy to get the first job, my goal was to join a technical club where I could get some hands-on experience on some skills that I was not getting in the classroom. So for me, that was some electrical skills. I don't take very many electrical classes in my program, but I knew that was going to be a big part of my career going forward. So I joined a technical team as part of the electrical team, and with this position, I was learning a lot about PCB design and hardware development. So with that, I ended up putting my electrical position on my resume under work experience. Now, a lot of people will think that you can only put down like work experience that you had at actual jobs. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think working on a technical club or a technical team is very similar to actually having a real job. You go through a lot of the same processes and you learn a lot of the same tools and skills, and they translate well into each other. So I absolutely think that you can put that in your work experience. So anyways, I listed mine under work experience, and I listed out all of the accomplishments that I had on that team and the skills that contributed to them. That way I had some sort of tangible way to show off the fact that I actually use these skills on a somewhat daily basis, and that I am a little bit more well versed than what's someone learning these skills in school would be. So the results of this strategy is I went from getting 0 interviews to getting 1 interview after applying to about 75 positions. And after that interview, I did end up getting the job. I asked them afterwards like why they offered me the job, and it turns out it was because of my experience with the technical club on the electrical team. Because of my ability to understand hardware and my ability to read schematics, they put me in a quality assurance team where I worked with different like smart home embedded devices and got to test out the software that was running on them. So moving on to the second job, so some background leading into this application process. At this point, I had 4 months working experience at this other company, and now I was moving into the time in my degree where I was allowed to take a 16-month co-op position and take like a break from school. So my school offers a student once per degree to be able to take a 16-month work term. So just basically a break from school and go work for a company for an extended period of time. And I knew that 12 or even 16-month positions were a lot easier to get interviews for, mainly because companies find that the longer a student is with them, the more valuable they are to them, the more valuable skills that they learn, and the more they can actually do by the time you get to the end of the internship. So having a student on for longer is actually really beneficial for the company. So I find that more companies are willing to take on a student for a longer period of time than they are for like a 4-month position. However, the drawback to trying to apply to a longer term position is that there are normally fewer positions available. And when there are fewer positions available, that means you've got pretty tough competition. Quite a few people trying to come after those same jobs. So I knew that I had to do something to stand apart from them, to make myself more attractive as a candidate. So my strategy leading into this second round of hiring was to use my new work experience to my advantage. I knew that not a lot of people that I'd be going up against would have any work experience or if they did, maybe it's not real relevant work experience. Anyways, most people were not going to have that, and I knew that I did, so I was going to use that to leverage my skills and better my chances. So what I did, again, listed it under my work experience, and I listed out in bullet points the biggest wins that I had for that company. So one of the examples, I actually was able to quantify one of the wins that I had while working on that team, which was I made a testing rig that was able to reduce the amount of manual testing time from 6 hours down to 10 minutes, which, in case you don't know, is a huge money saver for companies because they were using their high-paid engineers to do these manual tasks. So now that you could do it in just 10 minutes, people could work on other things and get more stuff done on the team, which, like I said, in turn saved the company a lot of money. So this was a big benefit that I was able to quantify while I was working on that team. So the results of applying for this second job, I interviewed for, I interviewed for 10 different positions, and I was applying to about 25 jobs. So securing 10 interviews out of 25 applications is a huge increase from the 1 out of 75 from before. And actually, I only went to 4 of those interviews. I was given invites to 10, but I only went to 4 because by the time I had finished my 4th one, I had already been given an offer that I wanted to accept. And of those 4 interviews that I did, I actually got 2 offers. So I was at a 50% acceptance rate for the jobs that I was interviewing for. So I don't have to tell you, like, that is a massive increase from the cycles that I was doing before. So I ended up accepting a firmware engineering position at a Fortune 500 company for 12 months, and they gave me the option to extend to 16 months if I was performing well and they wanted to keep me on. Now, moving into the third job, some background leading into the third job. I was still working at the second job, the firmware engineering job, and I started realizing that I wasn't getting much out of the job. I wasn't working on the stuff that I was expecting to be working on. I was doing a lot of tool creation with Python, and I thought I would be doing some actual like embedded firmware work, which I wasn't. So I was looking for something else. I didn't want to be there after my 12-month contract ended. So I started looking for any kind of job I could get at some of the harder to get into companies. Companies like startups or Google, Microsoft, Apple, all of those I was applying to jobs for. And I was looking for anything that I could get for 4 months during the summer. I was also applying mainly to positions in the US, just because like I'm a Canadian. Up here in Canada, there aren't a whole lot of engineering jobs in embedded software, so I was looking towards the States, mainly for something in robotics or maybe something in like consumer hardware. So my strategy for this was I knew it was going to be a lot harder for me to get a job. Being a Canadian student applying to jobs in the US, like it's extremely difficult to get those jobs just because of extra hoops that the company has to jump through for visas and things like that. So I knew I had to really stand out. I had to beat out all of my competition that is natively from the States. So my strategy was I knew that my work experience up to this point was not giving me the skills that I needed for the job or jobs that I wanted to apply for. Especially since, my current position, I wasn't really learning much. So I went and found a bunch of jobs just on LinkedIn and Indeed, and I was looking through the relevant skills that was required for those jobs. And I went and listed out a bunch of those skills and created a project that was able to cover about 50% of those skills. So I used about half the skills required for most of those positions in this project and really dug into how I can use those skills in a practical setting. I ended up listing that project on my resume, and I pointed out all the relevant skills that I used and the major design choices that I made that changed the outcome of the project and really upped some of the results. So I was able to quantify something like process time and memory requirements for the code that I was actually writing. And the result of applying to that third job, I got one interview out of about 40 applications, and I was actually given an offer by that one job that I interviewed for to move to the US for 3 months and work for them there. So the company that I landed a position for was a mid-sized robotics company, mid-sized startup, robotics company. And it is easily the best job that I have ever had. I'm currently working there right now. I'm finishing up the last few weeks there. and they have already told me that they would like me to come back full time after I graduate. So, after 3 jobs, after applying to 3 jobs and doing all of this work to try and better my odds at getting interviews and getting acceptances, I have finally found a job that I thoroughly enjoy and feel like I have been working my whole academic career towards. And not only got an internship with them, but they are expressing interest in having me come back full time. So, what does this mean for you? I am living proof that it is possible to get an engineering job without prior experience, without connections, without excessive networking, all the things that your buddies from engineering are saying are necessary in order to get an internship. So all you have to do are work on these 3 methods. So making sure that you are developing skills and showcasing them in the right way are probably the most important aspects of increasing your odds. So go join a technical team if you need to get more skills on your resume. Another option would be to build a resume project if you need to be able to show off those skills and show your experience with those skills in a more practical setting. And if you're lucky and you have had an internship experience before, show off the skills that you learned there, the experience that you had there, in a way that quantifies the benefit that you gave to that company. Show off what you did for the team and why you were an asset for them. That's going to exponentially increase how attractive you are as a candidate, because companies are looking for people that are smart, capable, and will actually make an impact on the team. So what I want you to do right now is think about the skill set that you have now. Think about the experience that you have now. Where are you in your journey? Do you need to expand your skill set? Do you need to show off your experience a little bit more? Let me know down in the comments where you are at right now. Do you need more skills, or do you need to have more experience? Then let me know which of the 3 methods that you think will help you out the most. So whether that is joining a technical team, making a resume project, or leveraging your past jobs. If you are needing to show off more skills and more experience, the best way by far to do that is through a resume project. And lucky for you, I have a free gift for you. It is my ultimate resume project planning guide. I'm giving it out for free for anyone that needs it, anyone who wants it. It's a 3-day action plan that gives you step-by-step instructions on how to go from no project idea to a project idea that will guarantee you more interview invites. It's, like I said, a 3-day action plan for only 30 minutes a day. Sounds pretty reasonable to me if it's going to increase the number of jobs that you're getting. So if you want the guide, go click on the link in the description. It will bring you to a page where you just enter your email address. Once your email address is entered, you'll be able to download the PDF for free. So go take advantage of that right now. It's a great resource. It will send you on your way to getting your first job. So thank you for watching the video today. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you were able to take away from some of my experience and get an idea of what you can do now in order to better your odds at getting interviews and getting offers. So thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you next week.